Hello. Let's see if this is working. What's up, Marcel? All right, cool. The stream is up and working. Let's build some roads and stuff. What am I working on? Midnight Streets. I think the last thing I did when I was working on this project was add an airport. That still needs to be optimized. Just grabbed it from the asset store. Then I started creating a tunnel, which I didn't really finish. So I think I'm gonna work on the tunnel and some roads, and then maybe clean up that airport a little bit. It needs some colliders so I could drive on the roads, and I want to connect some roads to that airport. I don't really know what else I'm going to do. Okay, so let me gather my bearings. What scene am I in? I am in the open world scene. I don't want to be in this scene. And Unity is going a little slow right now. Let's jump on over to open world art scene. See where we are. I'm definitely going to have to look into this scene loading taking forever. Although I'm sure that's common with very large scenes. So I don't know if there's much I can do about it other than like break it down into a bunch of sub scenes. Okay. So, again, just a brief overview of where I'm at. This is the open world scene that I'm making. It's about 8,000 square units, is 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers. This whole section over here is pretty much done. It has a bunch of roads and walls and buildings, vegetation. Got some bridges that lead into the main island, and those are all connected onto roads. Got this tunnel over here, which still needs some work, and I want to come back to it, but that's a spline-based tunnel system that I have, and kind of cool. This is probably going to be a more rural area over here. And I'm probably going to have some residential type housing over here. I think I want to have a river over here. This is just a giant bridge. The big piece of Unity terrain in the middle. Got a couple racetracks in here. Player will be able to drive over to these and go into some events. I'm not worried about the racetracks yet. This is the airport. I really like this airport model, so I'm looking forward to playing with this. I'd love to dig into this today, start optimizing it. I have another giant racetrack over here. This racetrack partially goes underground, which is kind of cool. Little tunnel in there. And then I have another road network up here. So this will actually become probably like another downtown area. I'm not sure yet. And I have this roundabout at the end of this road section, this little highway section, that takes you these tunnels, which is what I left off on last week. So this tunnel, I have no idea where it's going yet. Currently just goes to the abyss. And this tunnel is just going to be like a little short tunnel. That goes to the other side. And I need to plan out what happens when you get to the other side. And I think what I'm trying to figure out right now is if I just want this tunnel to be straight or if I want it to have a curve. Right now it's just straight. So if it's straight, then it comes out right here. And I don't know what's going to be here yet. Which is kind of why I feel like I don't know if I want it to be straight or not. If it curves off in this direction, I mean, it could still curve off after you exit the tunnel. I think just to keep things easy and not overcomplicate, because I could always overcomplicate. Oh, this is a 3-lane road section. Huh. I think I could still line it up. Probably should not make it a 3-lane road section though. So that means I have to go into ProBuilder and do some stuff. Okay. Yeah, because I don't want this little road does not need to be 3 lanes. My road section for the spline, let's see if I can just like mess with that. Forget what it looks like. I'm pretty sure I could edit this with ProBuilder and make it a 2-lane pretty easily. So let's do that. I will grab the road prefab, just bring it into the scene right here. Actually, let's bring it to 0. World 0. Down with my other orphan objects. All right, so for this, I will unpack this prefab completely. Let me rename these road underscore 3 lanes. And this one will be 2 lanes. pop open the ProBuilder window. And where's that ProBuilderize button? There we go. And see. Need to add some more edges. Edge loop, something like that. I gotta select these edges first, I think. So I'll select those two. Insert edge loop. No, the other way. Like this and insert an edge loop. And how do I make it so that I can move it without affecting the UVs? I've been working on this project, this particular project, maybe 4 months, but I think a lot of that time I was developing a traffic system. So I think the actual project itself, and that traffic system is something I sell. So because that became a product, I don't really consider that part of this project's development anymore. I think this project's only like really 2 months old, which all I really did was start building this world. I have a little bit of functionality, but I have a ton of racing logic and programming that's already pre-written. So the hard part is just building this open world. So right now, all I'm doing is focusing on finishing this open world. And then once I'm done with that, I'll take all of the systems I have and start building up some gameplay. I wish I could remember how to do these edge loops properly. I could have sworn there was a way to just be able to move the edge without affecting the UVs. Right around here. That's my face. Yeah, this is what happens when a programmer uses ProBuilder. Delete faces. All of these, I'll just merge. Where's my UV editor? Well, actually, I have a material, so I think this is the right size. So if I just swap the material, where's the material editor? And then if I reset the UVs, well, what am I doing? I think I have a piece that I can just take without needing to mess with all these UVs. Yeah, let's do that. No, because right. Might be easier to trim this down than build that other one up. Such a simple task for an artist too. What's up, everyone? Thanks, Gaming with Respect. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm just going to use this one. I'll just delete all of these spaces, and then I'm left with the 2-lane segment. And this one I can just insert the edge loop and should be right in the center, so it'll be perfect. Yep. Yeah, I have been working on this project for in total about 6 years. I've published a bunch of assets to the asset store in between all of my project attempts. It's like I go through a phase where I learn a lot and I build up a bunch of functionality, and then I'll make it into a template or something, get a bunch of feedback, and improve it. And I've just kind of iterated on it for years. Yeah, that's really the best way, in my opinion, to learn. It's just by having a project that is large in scope that you don't take super seriously, because then you get to iterate over and over and over again, and you learn a lot through that process. Oops, I just wanted to delete that face. I think I started my first racing project about 6 years ago. Now for this thing, I will center the pivot and then reset it. Now it's over here. And I think that's it. Like, yeah, that's my 2-lane section. So I will just rename this road 2 lanes. This is the farthest that I've ever taken a project. So it's kind of exciting to see this world coming together and knowing that I have a bunch of code that's like just kind of hanging out and ready to be put into it. So it's kind of like, even though I'm really enjoying this level design experience, I'm like super looking forward to just getting it done with so that I could get back to programming the actual game and building inside of the world that I create. It's like a double-edged sword. You always want to be a little farther than where you are. Okay, so freeze the transform and just center the pivot again. And this thing actually looks good. I think I can just export it exactly how it is. And I can toss it into that spline. Let's just give it a shot. Folder that I'm in. Art tunnel. I also need to like spend a lot of time just going through this project and doing a bit of cleanup in it. I dumped a bunch of stuff in here when I started this project. I feel like all of it's not really necessary. And as I'm starting to create like little road segments like this to use with the spline system, getting a little messy. Okay, so there's my road 2 lanes. Bring this in and find the material that it was using. I'll unpack this completely. Assign the material. Okay, so now this is my new mesh, my new prefab. Save this as a prefab actually. And now we could just delete all of this stuff and go back to the tunnel and swap out the mesh. You said you've been meaning to polish up some systems and sell them on the store. Would I mind explaining how it's been for you, if it's worthwhile? And sorry to bombard you with all the questions. It's okay. I don't mind questions. I like talking about my experiences. So if they're interesting to people, I'll definitely be willing to share them. I do encourage it. Me personally, it's nice when you get feedback from somebody that purchases your work. It's kind of like the coolest thing, especially if they like it and they're using it in their project to make something cool. It's not fun when you get a customer that expects the world from you, like that one button, just click this and you get everything without having to do any work in Unity. And it seems like the bad experiences are not very common, but they do exist, and for some reason they just stick around with you more. But the positive side of it is that like I built a traffic system, and I built it specifically for this game. The difference between my traffic system and the other ones that were on the store was I was using something that needed to support the large open world, so I started using the new C# job system and Burst compiler. And apparently a lot of people desired that. So I actually made some pretty good money from it. Which means like the first time that I sat down and started prototyping for this game and building out my own custom traffic system, it ended up turning into a product which I didn't expect it to. And that happened because a lot of people were asking me for it. I was doing some devlogs on YouTube and people were asking me to sell it to them. And I said, well, I guess if there's a bunch of people messaging me, I should probably turn it into an asset. And since then, it had been featured by Unity a few times in some of their sales, and that's a great feeling to be able to build something and you're building it for your own project, but you're also selling it. So you're making money and you're getting feedback on it and you're improving it. So it's kind of like, as long as you don't mind sharing your code and knowing that other people are going to use it to improve their projects, which means that they kind of come out farther ahead than you, but at the same time, they're paying you and they're giving you tons of feedback and telling you what's wrong with it. So it's like you get free beta testers. I encourage selling on the asset store. I encourage selling your stuff anywhere. I think it's really cool for programmers to have that ability to be able to create scripting content and sell it. Artists have had that ability for a very long time. So I think if you're a programmer and you can write code and make some cool stuff, I definitely recommend trying to sell some of it on the asset store. You learn a lot about yourself through that process, which is great. And just overall, you're just always improving. So I think for these two, I need to actually, I think I need to reset them. I'm going to try to just put them in here, but I feel like last time I did this didn't work properly. Let's see, West Road, Channel 1. Try to drop this in and see what happens. Road 2 lanes. Here's where I drop it in. I think I need to delete that channel. Let me try adding another channel. Road 2 lanes, I'll just drop that in there. Yes, add the material. Gotta be a way that I could just drop it in here, I think. Yeah, because I could just delete that index. Okay, I think that's what be done. I'll put that in there. Let me copy these settings. Yeah, no problem. If it helps, I'm happy to hear that. That looks like it still has that old material though. I'm gonna just remove this spline mesh. And I will just create another one. And it is using path spline. Here we have this road. And now it looks better. Auto count. Go in here and play with these values a little bit. Rotate it 180. What was the offset? Well, I guess the offset is going to be different now because it's a different size mesh. fiddle around with it a little bit. I really enjoy working with spline tools. I should probably read more documentation. I'm highly guilty of like learning the base functionality and then running with it. This is a really cool system. Hey, what's up? Okay. When I play with this spline system, I actually I want to start coding all of this custom stuff. It has this like full API. Kind of makes me think of Houdini. Wait, this one doesn't need to be rotated. Houdini was always some software that impressed me when I was getting started. I had no idea what it was, and it all looked like black magic or something to me. And now that I can script okay, working with these spline systems, I could kind of see how Houdini was made. Hi, Don. Thanks. You have a nice day too. Why isn't this one following? Fine, let's see. This one's just, oh, it's because I need to. This is where I would start doing all this custom scripting. Because all of the like little things that are slowing me down here, this is what I would kind of automate. But I don't need to make this custom scripted spline. I need to make a racing game. I don't need to make a racing game. I want to make a racing game. Auto count, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so cool. Yeah, anytime I move the spline, these road sections move too, which is really sweet. Horizontally, vertically, any direction. Let's turn on the move tools. Try to align this a little bit. Oh, I need to fix this. These are still Z fighting each other. This one is probably okay. 6. -6. A little too far. -5.8. 5.8. Let's try that one. That's good enough for me. I think it's still Z fighting with No? Why do I have these lines? What are those lines from? They're all over this place. And does not support undo, unfortunately. I'm just gonna ignore those for right now. I don't know why they're there. It could have something to do with the spline shape or something. It is kind of really annoying and distracting. Yeah, something's up with that. What caused that? Why do I have that? I think let me try to line all of these points on from their height. Select all. Change the height to 207. Oh, that's a little annoying. The one on the left seems okay, actually. So something to do with and I have a feeling like let me disable the selection. Oh, actually, this one does it when you're facing that way. Hmm. Really weird.